Hey everybody, it's Bust with Expedition Trial number 264. Before we get started though, we do have to take our hot takes on the new cards. So just some quick hits. Does look like the elites part of the Demacia cards are out there for our viewing pleasures. In my educated guess, I would say this is probably about like half of the cards that will come out as far as Demacia is concerned. But like the big thing I'm curious with on like the level of expedition is what we're going to see as far as the future card pools are concerned. And what I mean by that is like we're pushing like I can't remember the total number, but there's got to be like 50 different card pools that once you split it between the two factions, then it gets up to like 90 some individual pools or deck archetypes, however you want to look at it. And it's just like so many, so many. But I mean, even if if you're going to consider something like there's going to be 10 factions, and say there's like a single faction for each one, and then like 4 archetypes in each of them, then that's going to get us up to like 50 separate card pools with like 100 different lists within them, give or take. That math's probably not exactly right, but there's a ton of them. And so as far as we're concerned, like for the most part, the people that hang out here would be in our kind of like uh, platinum or diamond level expedition players. It's typically people that go out of their way to watch some nerd play expedition, tend to be pretty decent at it. And so, for us, it might not be like that humongous of a deal as far as how many card pools are there, but uh, for the more casual players, the people that are there for just their, one token a week, it's a lot to digest for someone that's not as involved with expedition as we are. And so, curious to see what they'll do. So if they'll, say take Jarvan and replace. Garen and Demacian Steel with him, if they'll give him his own pool. As you can see with a lot of these cards, they focus a lot on rallies and challenges. And so we could see him replacing Quinn and Relentless. We could see him pairing up with Fiora for some kind of barrier, rally, challenger combo kind of thing. I'm curious to see how it plays out, especially with the previous set with Aphelios where they just stuck him in Luminous Dusk. I'm curious to see if there will now be, Demacian Steel Garen, Demacian Steel Jarvan, or, how that's going to play out. But I'm sure that Riot has big plans for Expedition and however they plan on doing that. But as far as these cards are going, these are fine. Jarvan seems great. Have big problems with Cataclysm. Why couldn't they just say that this this rallies and then gives a unit of your choice challenger for the next attack? I don't know what a free attack means. I've played these games forever, and Runeterra since it was in closed beta. I don't know what free attack means. So get on that and change the wording, please. Jarvan is a little bit weaker than I should say King Jarvan III, a little bit weaker than what we've seen out of like the Dreadway and the Siren, the Tusk Raider. He's still just going to win every game you play, man. So congratulations if you manage to draft one of those. And a lot of the problems that we've seen in this elite style deck get fixed a little bit with these cards here, right? The Honored Lord gives us an early game interactive unit. For the most part with elites, we were just super happy to have like Cytherea the Cloudfield and the 2/2 tough. And so picking up another early game unit that can also interact with our opponent's stuff, very good. Penitent Squire making our Legion Rearguard look worse and worse, right? Apparently 5 stats with downside is too much, but 4 stats with upside is not. And he's allowed to just go in there and still be 4 stats with downside. I feel for you, brother. It's a sad day for you. But interesting little set of cards. None of these seem too terrible or too great. Just things I'm interested in trying out. I think Jarvan will be pretty fun. He, again, much like this person down here, the Honored Lord, he fills in a lot of the problems that Garen doesn't fix in elites, right? There's not much difference in playing the 5/5 tough elite and playing Garen. It's like, sure, Garen's stronger. He gives you that kind of rally effect. But Jarvan just gives you this completely interactive unit. And he's new and different in the sense that he has burst. And so you can make your attack and then burst a Jarvan into play, really make a super powerful open attack. It's like if you're used to playing with like Mist Wraiths and bursting out a Mist Wraith and making an open attack, being able to do the same thing with Jarvan, very, very powerful. And so I think he's going to be good. He's better than a lot of the Demacia champions, just a nice little interactive person for them to have. Maybe he'll tell us what a free attack is a little bit later, but nonetheless, that's the quick little hot take for today. We're happy to pick up Jarvan as soon as he comes out. But let's get moving. Let's jump in on trial number 264. Let's see who shows up. Okay, okay. So I think I'm tempted to just take the Vi. It's been forever since we've drafted Vi. This card pool is not very good. Um, Arguably, I should just take the Diana so that we could try to find more Aphelioses, but I think we'll take Vi. It's been quite a while since we've drafted her. Over here with this Trundle, Trundle is a good champion, and this is kind of like the highlight of what we would see out of a Enlightenment pack. The idea is you're trying to get some kind of bonus out of getting to 10 mana, and these ramp spells really help you do it. Problem though, I don't like any of these. I don't like the Behold theme. That's what we're seeing out of this 8-cost spell. I don't like playing this spell in general. It just doesn't do anything in the late game. But with this theme with Weirding Stones and Trundle, it's a pretty decent start to what you want to be doing. And then over here, if you're just shooting for 7, I would ideally recommend that you take the Diana. She's just extremely powerful. This Luminous Dust card pool is extremely powerful. The addition of the Cloven Way really pushes this deck over the top into being very strong. And so if you're looking to take Diana, you can just take her, take whatever Shadow Isles pack shows up second, drop all of the cheap cards that you can, your 1s and 2s and 3 drops, and then try to pick up a couple Cloven Ways to close out games with. Get you right on track to having a good deck. And then, depending on how your late game falls, you'll ideally want to stack Dianas, but if you don't manage to find any late game, you can switch over to drafting Aphelios to close out that way. But nonetheless, we're going to be taking this Vi here with the Smash and Grab. The idea with this card pool is that we're actually just fully taking advantage of Insightful Investigator. And so this wants you to play 2-cost cards. There's a whole big bunch of 2-cost cards in the Smash and Grab pool. And Eager Apprentice is a great start to use with the Investigator. If we play an Apprentice and then draw some Mystic Shots and then chain off a bunch of Mystic Shots that way, it's a very powerful thing to be doing. So let's take a moment. We'll get here pulled up. Enough with those. We'll be over here on the site. This is ftpbus.com. It's where I keep all of my expedition related content. We'll just be over here on the expedition helper section. We're going to scroll down to Vi, click on Smash and Grab, take a peek at what we're dealing with. And so, yeah, I mean, we kind of touched on the idea here. She pairs up with Twisted Fate. The idea is that we're going to be using Insightful Investigator as the kind of engine to our deck. We're going to be playing a ton of 2-drops and taking advantage of either using the Investigator to draw cards or playing things like Gotcha and Patrol Wardens on the cheap. And so if we have the Investigator down, maybe we play an Eager Apprentice, draw a card, maybe that card's Patrol Wardens, which now costs 2, which changes future card draws. And so that's the idea here. On the Twisted Fate side of things, the idea is you can level up your Twisted Fate very quickly using the Insightful Investigator, and then he also has a big pile of card draw over on his side. And so if you're drawing a bunch of cards and playing a bunch of cards, it makes it easy to level up Vi, and then flipping a Twisted Fate becomes easier with the more cards that you draw. And so, yeah, this one, basically you're looking to find 2 or 3 Investigators to really build around, and then you want as much of your deck to cost 2 mana as you can. So let's dive in. Oh, Vi. We haven't drafted Vi in years. It's been actual years since we've drafted Vi. An interesting little set. I think I'm interested in taking the Ezreal here. I don't want Nautilus. This could be something that turns into a Sea Monsters deck, but I want to be paired with Shadow Isles if we're going to try to go in the route of Sea Monsters. And so you're kind of hamstringing yourself to only having access to half of the Sea Monsters if you aren't in Shadow Isles. So I think we can let Nautilus go. He could, be somewhat interesting if we were able to just draw a whole bunch of cards with the Vi half of this deck, but it's too hard to be like, well, I'm going to have like 6 Sea Monsters, then the rest of my deck costs 2 mana, so we can take advantage of the Investigator. It's just, there's a lot of hopes and dreams in that game plan. And then down here, of course, the Zed, always fine. This is probably... again, if you're just looking to shoot for 7, Zed is a super easy build around. It's not a whole lot of cards that play well with this Vi and Insightful Investigator, but Young Witch costs 2. And that could, pretty much just be enough. It's a 2-cost card in the Highwayman, but he's pretty bad. But I think, if we're able to put together this Vi deck, Eager Apprentice plays extremely well with both Ezreal and Vi, plays well with the Investigator. Of course, Ezreal is super happy with a bunch of Mystic Shots and a bunch of 2-mana gotchas. I think we can pull something off with this. And so let's pull up Ezreal as well. He's likely the theme that we'll look to be building towards. We'll probably want to have 3 Ezreals, 1 Vi, and then as many Mystic Shots as we can find. But a lot of the big cards that we're looking for also live with Ezreal. Eager Apprentice lives here, Gotcha lives here, Mystic Shot lives here. These are the big ones. And he does have access to the big removal spell in Thermogenic Beam. And so we'll see how this goes. Typically, when it comes to Ezreal, I do try to pair him off with another faction. It's pretty tough to just play a whole bunch of spells and use that to level up your Ezreal. We can do it here if we have the Investigators, but we're typically looking to pair him with, say, with Bilgewater for Make It Rains, pair him with Freylord for all the various Frostbites, but then also Frostbite Archer. Or we try to pair him up with Noxus so we can get things like stun spiders going. And so we'll see if any of that shows up. I feel like that's going to be tough to find. It's a lot easier if you start with Ezreal and then take like a Disruption Darius second to try to get stun spiders, or if you take a Swain second to try to get stun spiders. But I just don't think these cards are likely going to be showing up here. I do think that we're going to be, a full-on Allegiance deck most likely, and then we're really going to try to find 1 or 2 more Investigators, a whole bunch of Mystic Shots, and then really just focus on the 2-drops here. So, okay. Then I do want to call out, I don't think the Puffcat Peddlers are very good in these style of decks. It's just, when you're playing it with Teemo, it's very easy to add a bunch of puff caps to your hand, and then just play 4 puff caps with 2 peddlers on the board, and throw a bunch of puff caps into your opponent's deck. That's not something that we're readily able to pull off with this style of deck. We aren't adding a whole bunch of cards to our hand. Those little puff caps cost 1 mana. The things that we're looking to do cost 2 mana. And so it's pretty tough to pull off. So over here, I am going to take this, the Static Shock Investigator. The Static Shock is one of these cards that at least gives 2 tick-ups on your Ezreal, and then the Investigator is a 2-cost card for the rest of this theme that we're pulling off. Okay. Man, where's our where's our Mystic Shots? That's all I'm really looking for here. So as far as this one goes, I'm kind of tempted to jump in on Bilgewater here. The big thing I'm really looking for is Mystic Shot. Or I'm not Mystic Shot, Make It Rain. But Jack the Winner, good at closing out these games. He generates a spell every turn. This does some targeting for Ezreal, and so perhaps that could work well. Then Boxtopus, another 2-cost unit. And so I think this is the way that we want to go with this. I want to branch off into Bilgewater, see if we can't find some Make It Rains to go along with this theme, because we certainly can't find any Mystic Shots. And so here, I'm really just specifically looking for Make It Rains out of Bilgewater. So I don't want to be taking either of these Mending Touch cards. So we're going to be getting an Eager Apprentice either way, and I would rather just have the Sump Dredger. I don't want to be drawing cards every turn with the Hexcore Foundry. It's just, we should be able to just draw a ton of cards with our Investigators. And so I don't really want to be giving that effect to our opponent as well. All right, well, Jack the Winner number 2, welcome to the club. He's just so incredibly powerful, can't be passing him up. And there we go, there's the 2-drops. And so, I'm not fully opposed to picking up Puffcat Peddlers. I mean, if we just want to be like, okay, it's a 3/3 for 3 with a bit of upside, then that's fine. I just don't want to be looking at this as a full build-around kind of card. And over here, I don't want the Trail of Evidence. This card's trash. You could arguably look to Boomship Parlay. These are targetable removal spells, but the mana cost just isn't right, and these are both fairly weak. No more Pool Sharks? It's just got to keep looking for, or not Pool Shark, I mean, there's no Make It Rains, no Mystic Shots. So here, we do need to keep, kind of focusing on these targetable spells. Oh god, I just realized we only have 2 spells up to this point. We have the 1 Mystic Shot and the 1 Static Shock, and so we're really going to have to go and pick up a bunch of spells. So this is brutal. Let's go ahead and take the Gotcha and see if we can at least look to get a spell out of every pack the rest of the way here. And so, continuing on with this theme, the Pocket Aces does fall into that 2-cost theme since it costs 1 less the round you draw it, but not quite what we're looking for here. I'm pretty happy with our top end having 2 Jack the Winners in it, and so I'm fine to pick up the Gotcha with the Peddler. Okay, and then we can't quite be playing Karinas. This is just not a very good expedition card. You tend to just kill yourself with this. So it's too bad. Like, iterative improvement doesn't target. This would be nice if this targeted a follower so it could level up our Ezreal. And so this is tough. I think we just want to go ahead and pick the top end elusives here. These are typically what we use to close out these games. Okay, and a Mystic Shot, never passing it. You've got to take every Mystic Shot that we see. Okay, alrighty. The Get Excited Black Market Merchant will work. Merchant being a 2-cost card, Get Excited being a removal spell. Just exactly what we're looking for. Okay. I'm not excited about 2 Chempunk Shredders, but we do need to find a Thermogenic Beam. It's just having these catch-all removal spells is extremely important. Okay. Getting down to the end of it here. Very happy to pick up another Mystic Shot. Take that with actual anything. And then we do need to do a bit of cleanup work here. And so, a lot of this deck is very awkward. So we're going to be looking to get rid of Amateur Aeronaut, Golden Crushbot, where you at Shady Character wants to go. I would want to get rid of Abyssal Eye, at least 1 Chempunk Shredder, arguably both of them, and then I think we'll be okay. And then, so for the most part, we want to remove those spells for either something that costs 2 mana or a removal spell. And so here we do have the opportunity to trade out the Crushbot for a removal spell. Could be one of these 2-cost ones as well. And so it's just exactly on point with what we're trying to do. Okay. So it's not the best that we've ever had, but it's certainly manageable here. And we do need to go and make something premium. And so looking at these just off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure Jagged Butcher and Boxtopus are leveled up. I know the Eager Apprentice is leveled up. Veteran Investigator is a maybe. Puffcat Peddler, I'm pretty sure, is leveled up. Does that get us with anything left? We could do Slippery Wave Rider. He's gonna be our late game champion, if you will. And so let's give him a check. Wave Rider, look at you. I wonder how many people out there in the lands of Runeterra have gone and upgraded their Slippery Wave Riders. We can't be in the majority on that one, right? Can't be in the majority. So people don't know about the performance gains that you get with leveling up your cards, and so I know it's crucial. It's the pay-to-win aspect of this game. Okay, let's see what we can get going here. Got a couple 2-drops. Alright, that's probably about as good as a hand could be with this deck. Ezreal, Twisted Fate. So importantly, we do have answers for his Ezreal should he have one early. That's kind of the big thing that we have going on here.
How can I help?
Okay, and I think we should be able to pretty safely play the Aeronaut. It's pretty tough for any deck to have these style of decks to have a blocker for these elusives. Okay. Now we're still just in kind of the same spot.
Just keeping the peace.
Okay. He's doing what we're doing a lot better than we're doing it.
The ocean charts our course.
Oh boy, and he just hits the actual best 1-drop. Must feel nice. So this one's tough. Like, if we Shady Character, then we can't do any of this other stuff, but how can we get our spots to... I guess we could look to do this. I'm on board with this. Let's play Boxtopus. We're going to put 2 damage here, 3 damage here, so these both just have 1 health, and then we can try to follow up with Chempunk Shredder next turn. Oh, these have Scout, so... Oh man, hang on.
Oh, you're a wee numpty. Skill me behind.
Okay. This is gonna take some work. It should be obvious that we're up to shenanigans here, but we're just gonna take another 4 damage off of this.
Sure, boss.
Okay. Not really an ideal way to go about this, but get in the clear that we need. I'm afraid we're just going to get card advantaged out of this one. Them hitting the hitting a 2/4 off of that thing was brutal when we're in a damage-based removal deck. Sure. But hopefully these Jack the Winners will be able to carry pretty hard, as much as we just had trouble dealing a bunch of damage to him. Having to deal damage through Jack the Winner is a pretty big deal.
Have a mushroom. Have 3. My boat.
I don't want him to just be able to attack and get damage in. We're fine to get in here and block this thing.
Oh, if mushrooms could talk. I promised a bloodbath.
All right, then when they have the double puff cap peddlers, it's a little scary as far as our Abyssal Eye is concerned. Let's start with this.
What's our name again?
Ooh, that's a way to go about it. He could just kill our shady character to keep these off the board. I guess that'll make 2 smaller Jack the Winners, but surprised he would rather us have 2 5/2s as opposed to 1 5/5.
I'm always up for a round or two.
All right, let's at least get this out of here. We have the answer to Twisted Fate before he's going to be able to flip. I assume that he just never blocks. Maybe he blocks here. I don't know, but
You're bluffing.
I felt like he's probably much more likely to block with a Puff Cap Peddler than block with a Twisted Fate. But hopefully we recover here. He's only 1 card ahead, but we do have the Abyssal Eye in our hand.
I'm on it. Let the show begin. That technique.
Okay. There's the answer to our Abyssal Eye. We're going to be deep, though, aren't we? Where are we at? 18 cards? We'd have to wait a few turns. Probably don't have time for that.
Let's rock.
Okay. Gonna fall to 8. I guess I'm okay with this.
Have a mushroom. Have
It's so
3.
bad if we just play this and it gets hit with Gotcha. Aftershock, whatever. Yep. So we'll take 4, fall to 8.
Pretty.
Okay, I'm on board with that being okay.
Don't blink or you'll miss me. Stow the rations! Shackle the prisoners!
Okay. Oh. He's just gonna have his own now, isn't he?
There's another one!
Okay. He just has to block, right? We're so far ahead if we get to start drawing cards here. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy.
Don't ask where it's from, ask how much.
Hey, he's deep though now.
How y'all doing tonight?
Okay.
Oh, if mushrooms.
So I'm going to pedal. I'm going to do 4 damage to his Wave Rider. And then we're pretty good to do some blocking and stuff next turn. Have the Mystic Shot for the Shredder. I think we've turned a corner here. Letting this Abyssal in was huge.
Always been a fun guy. Vessel small, but she ain't lacking courage.
Oh, somebody's about to have a sea monster though.
3 teeth
That's a
told me about
pretty
this
good one. So do we ever get to like block with this Ezreal? Alright, that's clearly who's going to be hooking here. I don't think we can afford to lose it when we're going to start having Jack the Winter going. So let's at least play this now. So if we want to block Coral Creatures with Ezreal, we can do it.
I'm a peddler, not a meddler.
We do this. This doesn't target either, does it? It gets us. We have a 7 damage open into no elusives, plus a 2 damage spell in hand. Ezreal flip. I think this is okay. Should have maybe protected our Abyssal Eye, but he could just. If he had a removal, he would have removed Ezreal.
Watch and learn.
Okay.
There's plenty of killing left. Firing!
Alrighty, let's see where that gets us.
I'm so good, I surprised myself.
Got the blocker. Block. We have left here. We have Vi.
You poor
Okay. Never not blocking here.
Heard there was a little fella asking for me.
1 Mystic Shot left. Alright, let's be greedy.
There they go.
Deal 5 to all units. Can't really say that I approve of that.
Charge!
Team to 3. He's got 10 puff caps. Alright.
No way.
I don't think there's any way you can really play around those treasures. I think there's like 5 of them. At least he didn't hit that thing that makes a bunch of 6/6s.
When tribe calls, a reply is brother.
First day on the job, the gun's real. And that would mean
Alrighty, we got our Wave Rider. Let's see if that's enough. So many good cards left in our deck. Well, Vi and Wave Rider. I think we have to play it. Two. We could technically open, but oh man, if he had the thing that made all the 6/6s, he would have played it, unless he just specifically drew it. But that could have. Okay. Probably should have just opened. There's not a whole lot of cards that get him out of an open there. He would have needed. Well, I guess he could have drawn a gotcha. That's the kind of thing that worries me, is if he has, you know, the block and the removal spell, and then he can play a unit that come through. But all right, what an absolutely perfect Ezreal beam and a Mystic Shot. Spot on, everything we want. All right, on to the next one. Where are these Make It Rains at? I guess we can't complain too hard. We just get Ezreal with a beam and a Mystic Shot, but that's like the one card I'd like to find throughout this trial. I don't think it's going to show them to us, but I'm glad that we at least gave ourselves the opportunity to find them. Right, shady character's horrible, but otherwise, I think we have to just stay here. I'd like the argument to mulliganing away some of this is to find an answer to Zed. Zed's a real problem. Callista's a problem, but less so. We should be okay now, though, that we have Gotcha.
I'm on it.
Okay. No need to be in a hurry. We're certainly going to be the control here.
I'll show you how it's done.
Interesting. So you want to target Bark Beast first. If you do target the Mentor first, this isn't a game where everything happens at the same time, so the Bark Beast will grow if you target him second.
My sweet mother.
Look at this. Maybe we are the aggro now. Just get him with all the Eager Apprentices. Okay, this should be safe. It is actually pretty tough for them to play units that interact favorably with these. They can't play like a 3-3, sure, but for the most part, the Shadow Isles Ionia units, they don't have a lot of 4/4s in their deck.
Think before you strike.
There's a good chance that he couldn't play units that could favorably interact with both of these.
Can't stop me. Firing.
All right, well, I mean, this is a pretty good spot to be in against a Zed Callista deck, and so we've managed the early game pretty reasonably. Let's get that out of here. No, thank you. Uh-oh, got the Twin Disciplines? Sure. It's going to fall to 2. Hopefully we can take it down next turn.
Sounds dangerous. I'm in.
Okay, let's see if we can do it this way. I was considering if we wanted to like play a Boxtopus, but we're going to have like 2 cards to try to deal with this Callista either way. So we can add something after the fact, or likely if this is successful, we'll just play Black Market Merchant and bank 2 mana. This is a pretty meaty Phantom Prankster, though. Just need the Tom, right? It's drawing 1 card from his deck, even that good. And it's drawn a card. We just want to add a blocker. I think I'm more on board with that. Let's actually just discard the Merchant. Or Aeronaut. Okay. We're real close to getting this Ezreal flipped, but we have good blocks now, so
One candle for every sun.
sure. You can't protect Callista from Gotcha, though. So we have 4 mana after this? Yes. I did the mathematics. We did. We indeed have 4 mana.
Come to the light.
Okay. Just want to do everything in our power to not take damage here. We can deal with this Cursed Keeper unit next turn, and I don't think it'll be like ultra relevant at this stage of the game. But after like the second turn, I really like to make sure that these things are off the board, and all their low quality units are off the board. So if they're wanting to play the kind of like self-sacrifice cards, then they're going to have a card that can bring a little bit better of a punish, right? Because now he has to sacrifice real units, and so turns off a lot of his combos.
Treasures of the ages for a price.
Ye started without me.
Was he just passing? Is he going to play the Ruination? All right. Well, I'm apparently just going to all in into it. So I think he was just probably just waiting on the Mystic Shot and not playing the Ruination. But let's see. Let's see how punishing this looks. All right. Oops. You take a lot of damage. We do this. We're gonna take 4. It's okay. We can get out of the rest of this combat without killing any of his units. Sure.
You're gonna be sorry.
Alright, we should have put a blocker in case his last card is Deny. Hope we don't get punished here. I was just kind of autopiloting that. Okay. Let's do this. We're going to make a big open. And if we want to protect ourselves from the Prankster, we want this, at least this last block, to be way down on the right. And so I think we just win the game like this most of the time anyways, but we want to attack like this. Our elusives first because you can't block him, then little to big, so if he has another barrier lifesteal, and then we want the Abomination way down on the end, as he's the easiest kill that he can have. Lethal. Okay, good game, friend. Ezreal is victorious. Go us. Let's see. Oh, the Make It Rain? Man, I'd love to hang on to Jagged Butcher, but these are just so good here. I knew what we were wanting. I knew what we were shooting for. So, typically, I would be looking to get rid of Shady Character, and I would rather have Pocket Aces than Shady Character, but these Make It Rains are just too important. Put those 3 ticks on Ezreal all in one card. Okay, so something like this. Jinx and Vi. It's like a scrap heap deck with no Noxus champions. Interesting.
The sun rock got me good.
Most definitely with the urchin and discarding an arena bookie.
Anything helps.
Observe and learn.
Let's see if we can't get a high value Make It Rain here. The idea that I had going on with this. Don't even really have to attack here. Let's just do this. Let's add Puffcat Peddler and pass.
Little fella asking for me.
Again, as long as we have some time, I think we'll be okay.
We march as one, an unstoppable force.
Okay.
Join me if you want to live. Safety disengaged.
And do we want to pick up a ballistic bot? I don't think so. I think we're gonna have to play 2 spells this turn.
To victory!
All right, let's see how that rolls.
I'll recite your rights.
Nothing could go wrong. Nice, that landed perfect. Get that +4 on our Ezreal. Who did he hit? Ballistic bot? Okay. We can deal with that later. It sucks. I'm mainly worried about taking that damage here, but I think this is fine. Can static shock it eventually. Alright, then we're a little far behind as far as trying to make insightful investigator plays goes. Oh, we drew a shredder. Well, we did that. But this is really whenever we talk about cards like Doom Beast is a common one that it physically costs 3 mana, but it plays out like a 6 or a 7 or an 8 cost card. Investigator's the same way, as to where you really want to be playing it on like turn 7, untapping on turn 8 with full spell mana, and then just spewing off a ton of spells. Ooh, the counterfeit copies. I am. Oh shit! We forgot to attack. I got busy talking and stuff.
Just you and me, Fishbones. And them.
No tricks to get out of this, so should be okay here.
Flesh was weak, but look at me now.
Alright, so you should be at 14. We're a few points behind in that sense. And then now, I think, do we want a Wave Rider or Abyssal Eye? How far are we away from deep? Kind of far. I don't think we need to draw the cards, and I just want the stats.
One girl wrecking crew!
That Vi will be a problem.
Prime and ready. Rise, metal brethren.
But it's going to be 2 hits before she's able to do this flip attack thing, but depending on where he hooks, her surviving is kind of a problem.
Prime and ready.
Okay.
We are very important.
So ideally, I mean, she's probably going to come in and like hook the peddler, but ooh, he's trying to get into combat, huh?
I'm a peddler, not a meddler.
Okay, this is going to leave her. Well, she'll flip, so she'll be at 2. Probably should have popped her first. That's going to be a problem now. If we'd hit her in combat, we could have potentially killed her. I had it in my head that we were going to make this big value play with Veteran Investigator.
First day on the job. The gun's real.
Hopefully we'll still be able to do that, but
Oh, would you look at these eyes?
ugh.
Out with the old.
Discarded Aftershock. Alright, let's see where that gets us.
Get back here!
So that has been dealt with. This isn't.
Yes, of course.
Maybe we will go deep this turn. No, I think we're too far away. We're gonna play a second Mystic Shot, but then we'll be too far away after that.
And that would mean
Okay, that's not a bad turn.
got me.
Man, I wonder what is in his hand. I stopped thinking about this, but he discarded a 4-cost card to Arena Bookie. So is he gonna have like just like 2 super expensives in his hand? Do we really need to kill this Bookie? Like if he's discarding a 5 to draw a big card, well, it's just drawing a card, not your. It used to discard your lowest to draw one that cost 1 more, and so it's probably okay to leave sitting around. That's probably actually very good for us if he's discarding expensive cards and picking up random draws out of his deck.
Aha! Follow the trail.
But even to that end, I think I'd rather have a clear board than him having that ability. Like if he's, just drew something bad, it's more likely for him to draw something cheap than expensive, and so I'd rather just get rid of it.
Just you and me.
All the jinxes, huh? Oh, he had to counterfeit copies, jinx. I gotcha. I see what happened there. We're good at this game. We do want to go ahead and block. We're getting pretty low on health, and I don't want to take this hit if we don't have to. But
My win streak.
we'll play the Wave Rider. It was fleeting. I think we should be in a pretty good spot now. We can lethal him next turn if he doesn't have answers to these big elusives. Already attacked, so we don't care about that thing. Alright. I think we're good now. We have the full 12 mana to do all this.
Oh boy. Yep, I'm flying.
Rules are made to be
So
broken.
much jinxes.
Her people.
Okay, good game, friend.
Give you to the
Give him
counter.
the little emote. How do we do that? Here it is. It's this one. Found it.
The other forward.
Okay, good game, friend. Alright, so let's snatch up this third Ezreal. I mean, we were planning on doing it from the start, but we're doing an Ezreal build around, and then he flips into Mystic Shot, which plays to the other half of our build around. It's just actual perfect. Okay, always happy to pick up Progress Days. Not real stoked about Plaza Guardians, but to make the most of it. That's what it takes to get our Ezreal. Can't have Mystic Shot Thermogenic Beam every time. Right, off we go. I was just thinking, I feel bad for Vi. It just doesn't do anything. It's one of these champions we just never build around, but she just doesn't have like a unique effect. Even like Darius doesn't have a unique effect either, but we draft a lot of Darius. I don't know. She doesn't fit the theme of Piltover, it seems. But she does provide something that they can't do. All these games is just like, well, I'd probably rather just have a Slippery Wave Rider than Vi. Like, I know that's not a Piltover card, but just seems to close out the games much better. Could hang on to her. Not going to. Lux and Victor. Okay. I have to assume this is a full Lux build around, trying to take advantage of the spells matter theme. Okay, I think here I just want to fully bank, and then we'll play the Puffcat Peddler next turn, and then probably just not attack, or we'll draw Ezreal. Or draw Ezreal is always a valid strategy. should be able to protect pretty easily here. Like if he has to spend like a sharp sight or something to protect this bird to try to take care of our Ezreal next turn, we're completely equipped to handle that kind of play.
Prime and ready.
We just shoot this now. Probably do. And if he has a removal, we still have some more damages to try to get our Ezreal back. It's an annoying one, but okay. Made a pretty big investment in this, and of course the big thing that still happens here is you know, Ezreal continues to tick up. He's not one of these champions that has to see something happen.
I am the future. Safety disengaged.
Okay, so I guess we could dig for an answer. I'm okay with this.
Is my duty.
Found one. Huh. I get that, you know, the Make It Rain won't do anything to this one, but like, what's he gonna do this turn? Is he gonna play a just a ballistic bot thing? I think this is okay. We can again, we're not in like a huge hurry to get this Ezreal back. Like we're missing out on like a Mystic Shot or two, but okay, there we go. So that'll get 2 ticks on our Ezreal, kill his assembly bot. Still have a good attack because he's never blocking with this thing. I dig it. If we protected our Boxtopus, who clearly would have just died to that Mystic Shot. So I think that's fine.
System upgrade.
Slow down, will you?
Would have just trade Shredder for the 3/4? I think so.
Let the show begin.
This has been like the best chain vest of 2021. Just so much protection.
Safety mode.
Ah, should have waited.
Here we go.
Flay 'em up.
Safety disengaged.
So we can do all of this, right? So let's get the Aeronaut down. We'll look to play Aeronaut, Boxtopus after, so he has a chance to spend some mana, and then post-combat Black Market Merchant. Watch him just give us Victor elusive. Fucking annoying.
System up.
Wow, why would you ignite before Victor card?
Rise, metal brethren.
Bring the flippin' where are you off to?
Alright.
A win streak.
Another brilliant design.
Scout. It's like no elusive just for the strict I told you so's. Fine, dude.
Yes, of course. Ingenious. Electroplating
That looks like
completed.
a pretty juicy open. I want to play this. This threatens to just kill his Victor in combat. Then the idea is I'm going to ballistic bot. I want to get the value out of the ballistic bot card. I want to be discarding that next turn. Okay, I'm just never attacking with this.
Witness perfection, meatbags. Always full.
Really?
Blast him.
So is this just a prismatic barrier? Oh, spell force. Okay.
Credit denied.
I guess I will not be blocking with Wave Rider. That's a fact.
Erase frailty.
This bot could be too good here. If we manage to find a way to get our Ezreal back, these ignitions will be pretty spot on. Sucks to, you know, throw away a unit, but... Or I should say an elusive unit. Here's our answer. You're a little small though, aren't you?
Metal is perfection. Analyzing approach.
Hold still! Lucky shot. Vi stands for vicious.
Alright, so Scout, quick attack. We can take a hit from this and not have it be super terrible, but
Electroplating completed.
when was that? Lifesteal? So we start with this.
Sheriff sends her orders. I'll chat with Cupcake later.
Disengaged.
And I'm gonna Jack the Winner is gonna be the last card we play here.
Analyzing approach. So ordinary. Aren't any gods here? Just me.
Okay, then we can take this one. Not quite willing to get rid of any of these units if we don't have to. Lockdown here is okay. The best he can do is like back to back and hit us for 10. He can't hit us for 14 ever. Riposte. This is ultimately pretty scary when you have a Vi on board threatening to take down their Victor and he's willing to riposte away a unit that isn't Victor.
You wanted
I have the feels we're about to be in for a pretty bad time on this attack. But can we let him... He can't hit Barrier. That's the only one that super matters here, so let's add the Abyssal Eye. It's totally got a Barrier in hand. So... Oh, no he doesn't. Oh my gosh, how could he have let us do this? Oh my gosh.
Coming at ya!
get 'em all.
Oh my gosh. Can't believe you let us get our Ezreal back. Still somehow managed to not be flipped, but...
Have a mushroom. Have 3.
Alright, well, let's start the process.
Fighting's a bloody business.
Lock the doors.
Oh, it's you. I mean, hey.
Sorry, do I know you?
Alright, well, we're gonna have to kill this Lux. We'll have to put a damage on her, but let's at least go ahead and spend the last of our fishes. He can pick and choose who he hits with the peddler, or the fleet feather tracker. This is fine.
Ready, boy? We go. You're between me and glory.
Okay.
Oh, where that came from? My pretty.
Alright, well, we certainly have the advantage here. Falling to 5 kind of sucks against a Piltover deck, but to have a flipped Ezreal and an engine card against a Insightful or a Green Fang Warden, so
I'm so good, I surprised myself.
have to win this with super high percentage of the time. Not a bad start.
And that would mean...
into a card we can't play. We should at least be getting a second Mystic Shot off of Ezreal,
After them.
unless he picked up another elusive.
The facts fall into place.
All right, Investigator, do your thing.
Firing.
So we could take him to 2 with Get Excited. Well, we have 2 Ezreals in our deck. Or we just play the unit. Probably just ought to play the unit.
Hello, son.
He's not very puff kept at this point. There's no play, so maybe a combat trick. Oh boy. It's like, do we want to gotcha our own Kempunk Shredder? Maybe we should have. How sick that would have been. Oh gosh, was that us?
I don't miss.
We could have won in that fashion, couldn't we? Hang on, can we? What if we do this? This is 1 damage short, isn't it?
Yes, of course.
1, 2, 3. This is only going to be 4 damage, right?
Charge.
Yep. Should have gone for it. Oh, that's brutal. We should have just. The gotcha would have been for 2 mana as well, so we'd have drawn the Mystic Shot, and then we've drawn Mystic Shot into Mystic Shot. I mean, I know that's pretty results oriented in that fashion, but we knew the only way we were ever going to lose that game is if he just has a collection of burn spells in his hand. So, sick. It wouldn't have been as bad if we didn't have to see the cards that we were drawing. Brutal. All right, well, that one's over. Moving on and forward. I don't want to keep the Static Shock. We can probably just keep 1 Mystic Shot. It shouldn't be too good against a lot of these cards. Like, this damage-based Mystic Shot removal is not good against dragons, so it's better. It's better than starting with 2 Slippery Wave Riders, but still okay. Dragons with 2 Aurelian Souls. Oh yeah, I was hoping we'd start out with another 4 and a 5 drop. That was my hope and dream.
I thought you'd never ask.
What you got for us, friend?
One shot, all skill.
Let's just let this go. We're just getting in 1 damage here and never playing the Mystic Shot because we don't have the mana. And so if he's holding back on something to try to get in post-combat, I'm happy enough to let that just happen. We're good to just take this.
Investigating officer, Unit 6.
He smells something.
Hold it!
Get in there. We're never going to have the mana to really activate these things. So if we can trade a spell for this. I mean, it sucks to trade a 4 mana spell for a 1, but we're going to be spending the rest of our time playing these elusives and stuff, and so rather just go ahead and get him to spend the mana while we can. As long as he's not adding units to the board, should be okay. Play Challenger Dragon now, it's a real problem. Gifts from Beyond. Okay. Not expect to see that come out of this deck. Sure.
dangerous. I'm in. Ooh, that's gotta hurt.
Okay. We can beat this value plan. Him not playing Challenger Dragon feels extremely good.
Smell that?
Okay.
A bite's a cooking.
Continue to bring the elusives. Okay. Pretty close to getting this Ezreal to flip. Wow, this is not dragons. This is just like the dregs of the cards he could be playing.
One shot, all skill.
I guess he could have concerted strike. He could play concerted strike on Ezreal, but it's flipping. So we need to target units with this static shock, right? Since we actually hit face. It's on the scarier side of things.
I'm on it. Check me out.
Okay, so we need another burn spell though, right? We can do 3 to face with this one, 3 to face with Mystic Shot, then we just need to survive next turn. Repping 15 out of this with no other cards. Do we ever just put like Wave Rider and then...
Whatever are they for?
Interesting. It's not our lethal, but now we know exactly what we have to deal with here.
Who's angry for action, eh?
We're okay.
Hand to the face. Eat up, friend. Sure, boss.
You
Something like this. We're not dead.
go.
Okay. It's tapped out, so I think we're good now. Surprised to see him play the Mind Splitter. I mean, he could have blocked with our elusives, but... Okay, alright.
You wanted wrath.
Sounds dangerous. I'm in. It's not
I
bragging
don't like
if
that
you
the
can back it up.
sleep with the fishes is slow, but I think the open's the way to go. In the event that he has like a sunburst, we want to make sure we get the Mystic Shot out of Ezreal. It's the big card we have to worry about here would be a
Lieutenant,
the
have you
thing
brought a
that
specimen from the field? We let you keep the egg. Be content with that.
the gain 5 health spell,
I can bleed.
which we can beat. We do 6 damage with our Mystic Shots. Okay, hopefully that's enough. It's sweet if we had a burst. All right, that was lucky. It seems like he had a pretty weak draw. I mean, our draw was weak as well, but we started with a 5, a 5, a 4, and another 5, and so I was afraid we were going to lose that one. Let's see. Never trading away the Investigator or Jack the Winner. I don't think, veteran investigators are something we really need here. I'm okay with them. If this was like, hey, do you want to trade away shady character for a veteran investigator? Absolutely. But I kind of like having the Boxtopus just as another way to interact outside of all of these spells. So let's just hang on to it. Need to get some of those Jarvans in this game. Okay, that's a set of cards for certain. Zed and Elise, but he's in the spider colors, so it's like spiders with Zed. Okay, I think I'm going to hang on to the Dredger. I kind of want one unit that can block a Fearsome. We don't have too many Fearsome, or too many units that can do that, and so I think he's a reasonable keep here. If he plays Elise here, we don't have an answer to her.
That's my resting face.
And the Green Glade Duo, what a set of cards. He's just playing the good ones. Can't quite just sit around and see if we can shred off all these 1 health units. Ezreal's not spectacular here. Okay, we can't hit anything with him.
Old masks let young eyes see clearly.
Okay. If he passes back to us, it's okay. He's definitely attacking here. We can just take a 7 hit, fall to 11. Okay.
Don't blink or you'll miss me.
Was it too greedy? If this game goes late, we're just gonna win every time, right? We've got Progress Day in our hand. With these super fun plays we get to make. That's what it's always about, is making the funsies. Counterspell either of these. I'm drawing 4 cards. It's kind of scary. Okay. But we do have to go back to being a little bit more value oriented here.
Can you still rise?
Without a sound.
What? Does he really block our Shredder with a Zed?
It's not bragging if you could back it up. Watch and learn.
Yeah, I guess I'm on board with that.
Gotcha.
Hang on, we should not have been on board with that. Like, in what scenario do we never draw this Mystic Shot and just kill his Zed? That was strange. Once I stopped and thought about that a little more, like, really surprised he didn't block there. There's no 1-mana spells that could get him, that could save his Zed. We're super close to lethal. These must have drawn like just like if you're gonna draw 4 and then follow with Stalking Shadows, that's to draw on a weird set of cards. But if this is like a get excitable unit, then we'll just lethal next turn. Right, we can play Wave Rider, bank up to 3 mana in total. And be hitting for 10 plus Mystic Shot plus Ezreal's Mystic Shot. Are there any burn spells that ever kill us here? Well, we need to burn anyways, so if he's gonna... Discard the Investigator, we're never gonna need it. And we're set to a good open. The thing is, like, is he gonna Twin Disciplines here? I don't care if he take the damage if he Twin Disciplines, I just don't want to wanting to have blockers. We're one short as it stands.
One shot, all skill.
Gonna block Shredder. Ezreal can't flip. Okay. That is what it is. A copy of Chempunk Shredder. Okay.
Nailed it.
Might get that. Wish we had our get excited back now. I didn't imagine a scenario where he had another unit there.
Hello, son.
All right. I'm just the idea that we're just going to go for it here. Not sure why he would copy this Shredder. He's done some interesting lines this game.
Charge.
All right, let's see where this gets us.
Show's over.
Like this is another one that we've just messed up. We're gonna lose to a haunted relic. That's what I would love to see.
Everyone's a garden.
I mean, he has hooks on Ezreal and the Wave Rider. Don't particularly care about. We can still block these set of units down here. If he has a Black Spear, it's kind of unfortunate. Up and hilt, okay. We're still okay regardless of all these cards he's played. Okay, I'm just gonna face this Mystic Shot. We should have an open kill with Ezreal. If we don't, then we should get a kill off of Progress Day. This is fine.
Firing.
So he has to answer both now. I think this is better.
Watch and learn. I knew we had it all along.
All right, continuing on. It's tough. Kind of like the top end that we have here. As far as our elusives go, it feels like 3 is a good number. The thing I'm kind of like hurting with here is I'd like to pick up Mystic Shot, but I don't want to get rid of our Eager Apprentices. I would actually like to pick up more of these. I would like to pick up Hired Gun, gives us a early game way to interact, costs 2 mana, but losing out on the Wave Riders is kind of painful, and so it's always hard to just be giving up Mystic Shots. But I also want to get rid of Plaza Guardian. I don't really want this in our deck. Puffcat Peddler's reasonable. At least he's an early play. Sucks passing on an opportunity to take a 2, but I mean, I guess at the end of the day, we only have one of those. Veteran Investigators, whichever the 4-cost one is, our build around card. We only have 4, or don't have 4. We have 1, costs 4, and so we don't have to go like super all in on the 2 drops. We have, I think we said we had 9. Not too many, not a ton. It's not like playing Fishbones where we want, 10 and 11 and 12 1-drops. So, good old Bob Bitcoin. I wonder how this guy's Bitcoins are doing these days. Anyways, let's hang on to Ezreal and some 2s. Have to assume that someone feels like their internet moniker should be by Bitcoin. They've hopefully done pretty well for themselves given the price of Bitcoin these days. This is one of these kind of rough spots where it gets weird with Ezreal, to where, if we wanted to get the full value out of him, then we just couldn't play any spells on the previous turn, which I think I'm kind of okay with. He wants to slow play this, let us Mystic Shot his face first, and then I think we're okay. Against Trundle Tom Kench. Yeah, I'm on board. Now it gets to follow up with probably like a 3-3, maybe. I don't know. I think we're okay here. Sure.
Snow Sunder smash all the things!
So I don't think we ever really care about either of these, but let's throw the box to push down since it can interact with the Tavern Keeper, and then if we take 3 off of this guy, then I don't super care. And then if he has a combat trick for the save over here, also don't care about that. And then this leaves us in a pretty reasonable spot, right? We could play the Wave Rider, who's going to bank us up. Oh, man, hang on. I missed something there. I thought we were just going to roll into this turn with 1 spell mana and then pick up a second with the Wave Rider, but this is okay. Should be relatively tough for him to interact with our units here.
Sounds dangerous. I'm in. Can't stop me.
And this is also tough. And do we want to, be trying to? I think we need to save this mana for next turn. If he's going to just keep playing bigger and bigger units, if we want to say like gotcha Mystic Shot, then we're going to have an additional card. We do this. We're looking to have 6 behind. For 4 and 2. Yes, we can.
Oh, if mushrooms could talk. Smashing!
Ring the flippin' bell. Should have stayed
Ring
home.
the fucking bell. Yeah, let's actually just go ahead and play the gotcha. This way, if he has a +2 health, then we don't have to spend a second card on this guy. We're gonna have to spend the second card. If he has an additional one now, that's kind of painful, but alright, we get to hang on to our Ezreal. I was hoping we could take down the troll and not have to spend 2 cards here, but can't have it all the time. And where are we at? Next turn he's going to be able to play the Ice Pillar and Vulnerabilis.
I don't miss. Nailed it.
Does this hit our weakest? No, it hits our strongest, so it's going to be hitting the Wave Rider first. I was worried about it hitting Ezreal. Feels like we ought to just keep going face. I mean, we're getting pretty close. This would be 1 Mystic Shot away. If we're going to lose our Wave Rider, though. I think this is okay. Trundle Quake. All right, well, let's see. It's a struggle now. I was kind of like envisioning some plays that we could end up making with Jack the Winner to burn him out, but it's a little bit harder without our elusives on the board. Opens with Ice Pillar, interesting. And one of the downsides to losing our Ezreal as well is, the flip of Ezreal is Mystic Shot. We're currently out of them, and so we're running out of ways to just go face. Rummel's problem. We're gonna have to throw Jack the Winner in front of this. Okay.
Off I go.
This would be an absolutely devastating troll chant if he has it. Okay. I mean, I guess we just need to. We can play the Peddler. This is like, it just seems like the only way we're ever going to be dealing damage here. If we don't have our elusives, like, we're never attacking through this thing. Vi doesn't really help in that sense. Do we even get done with Vi? She can at least block a Troll Ravager, as exciting as that play sounds. I think that's not really a game winner. I think we need to just try to chain off a bunch of spells, and we're going to have to try and go face here.
Trolls are going to war! Go to war!
Still taking notes. There's criminals to pursue.
Logic and caution.
Do our beam just a little bit late. It's not even a good one. Doesn't kill anything. But we might as well. I can't say we might as well play it when we're holding on to Progress Day. I think we just have to let it go. Let's get a hook in onto this thing, because we might as well. And then we're going to have to pass. It's looking pretty bad. Unsure if we can handle this Trundle, right? He's going to play an Ice Pillar and flip his Trundle. Okay. Game's 8. Yeah, this game's over. Well, he just played it on. Oh, he played it on the stairs.
There they go!
Okay, so we probably have to save Shady Character to deal with it that stairs. Let's play an Apprentice, but at least if when we play, well, oh gosh, we're losing our elusives. It's our way out of this.
No, I haven't seen of the other tricks that.
Why wouldn't he play? Oh, he's just gonna play it later. He's gonna try to do 2 to everything, right? That makes his overwhelms a lot better. Takes away our health. Well, he just rips them. I don't think we could have waited though. Assume he's gonna replace his Sketcher with it that stairs, deal 2 to everything. Obliterate landmarks. Okay. Seems much better for us than the alternative.
I'll knock 'em dead.
Break them!
Yes, I mean, this stuff doesn't actually kill us. We can do this. Oh, we gotta get a block down here. I'm trying to think, this is like one of our few ways that we can actually deal damage here. As it stands, I mean, it's really just going to be doing 1 damage to to his Ice Pillar, but...
Beg your pardon?
Okay.
Safety first!
Deep? We will be deep. It's at least a 6 hit. I don't think it's quite enough, but it's another option in the old in the old arsenal here. What I was particularly thinking was we're going to play Abyssal Eye and then we're going to play Kempunk Shredder, so that should at least kill it that stairs. Have 1 gotcha, 1 static shock. Get excited, which is useful, but Okay. So our new game plan is to survive this turn, which we might be able to do. And then get a Vi down next turn. If we can get Vi into combat, then we're kind of looking at 11 we might be able to do. Okay. It's like that would have been better served next turn. But
Appetizers of plenty.
do we have Mystic Shots? It says we're at 0 Mystic Shots.
Littles cross easy. Would a mushroom help?
Okay, okay. we're getting some time. We're getting it. Unfortunately, this Vi is not gonna be getting too much of the job done. But oh my gosh, we had a second Abyssal Eye. Oh man, this is getting juicy. I was kind of down in the dumps in this game, but now we've got 12 power of elusives. It makes things feel a little bit different. Okay. Oh, there's a good Tom Kench hook. That's too bad. We can take him down next turn with Vi, but I was really having this this ideal that we were going to hit for 12 with elusives and then deal 1 damage with puff caps. He's at 18 puff caps now. But
Let us peruse this establishment's fare.
I don't think this is too greedy, right? Just discard Vi, try to take down his Tom Kench, and then get our 2 Abyssal Eyes back. He can have a heal, but he hasn't like healed or done anything like that this entire game. Okay. Take him to 1. Then he's still got these puff caps on him.
Those we care for reflect our love.
Get to draw 2 cards while we have infinite mana as well. Okay, okay. Did we come back? Did we come back? It's close.
How can I help?
Let's bring gifts. That's all he has. All right. All right, here we are. Nice. Oh, that feels good. Feels good right there. I don't know how y'all are feeling about that one, but I certainly dug that. Felt like we had no business winning that. All right. So let's see. Let's get ready for this final battle. So I'm cool with getting rid of Shady Character. That was kind of as good as it gets in that in that previous game, but like Vault Breaker's just not something that plays super well in this style of deck. I really don't like playing Vault Breaker unless we're playing Heimerdinger, and you can play this and make multiple 3-cost units. I just don't think this is really a world where this is going to play too good. We're not getting into a whole lot of combats. It doesn't, count as like a target for Ezreal. I think we can just let it go. And I think I'm going to let all these go. I think, I'm happy with our top end with our, 3 elusives, 2 Jack the Winners. I want to get rid of a Kempunk Shredder. So I don't really want to trade away Abyssal Eye at this stage. If we get another late game card, then maybe, but not right now. And then I still want to hang on to our Make It Rains for Ezreal. So let's skip those. Okay, I'm okay with this one. This Make It Rain. I don't like having a big pile of Kempunk Shredders. And then these do very similar effects, but the Make It Rain works much better with Ezreal. And then down here, Merchants, a 2-drop, we want to hang on to that. And then the Sump Dredger is much better than Assembly Bot here. Okay, but I do want to hang on to the 1 Shredder, so he's not going away, our Investigator's never going away, and we don't want to pick up Shady Characters, that's an easy skip. Don't want Death Rays or Boom Ships or Vault Breakers, those are all easy skips. And interesting, I think we want to trade out the Peddler for a Gotcha. Well, that's gonna be 5 gotchas. Maybe not. It's just it's kind of interesting. Like if you can play it, the very turn you draw it, then it's so super good. But having it sit around and cost 4 mana is fairly bad. I think 4 of these is just gonna have to be enough. Let's skip over this one again. We want to keep our 3 elusives. I don't want to simply bots. And then our last one. What can we do with Tribeme and Probulator? I don't really want to trade away the Abyssal Eye, but let's check out our 3s. We have 10 3s. My problem with the Improbulator is it has to be in your hand, and so if it's in our hand at the beginning of the game, then sure, it's good. But if we draw this on turn 7, then there's just a high chance that this is going to be extremely bad. So I think I'm good to trade out the Shady character for a Static Shock. It'll at least pick us up another spell. It's a dual target spell for Ezreal. And now that we have all the Make It Rains and the Chempunk Shredder is just another kind of AoE to clean things up with. Now that we're kind of AoE heavy, I'm wondering if I should have taken some of those boom ships just to pick up the... it's so tough though. It's playing the boom ship for 1 powder keg. Like it's so tough to actually hit a relevant unit. Okay. Interesting. Well, we can probably hang on to the Peddler. I'd rather kind of cycle this away and look for an Ezreal, but I kind of like think, how do we proceed against like a Shyvana Ashe deck? I have to assume that he's at least doing something with dragons, or he's doing something with Yetis. That's what you tend to see out of Ashe, and so I think that it tends to be like where we need to be the aggro. And so of course, if you just if you just top deck your Ezreals, it's a lot easier. But I felt like it's number one. It's tough for them to interact. Like a lot of the the tricks out of Ashe are all cards like Frostbites out of Demacia. They have single combats, but the Shyvana side typically doesn't have challengers outside of the 5-cost dragon, and so might be a little greedy when we're about to just drop in Ezreal, but I think I'm okay with it. But no, like it feels like we're just going to be like plopping down spells and trying to have at it that way. So let's try to at least get the values rolling with Puffcat Peddler. I don't want the extent of our turn to be playing an Ezreal and then sending a Mystic Shot to his face. We can do a little bit better than that, I think. We did just miss out on this attack, didn't we? We completely completely just missed that 3 damage.
Observe and learn.
End them.
Okay. So we should be at 17. Let's see if that one's relevant. I completely spaced out that I was like, oh, I'm just going to play this Ezreal, and it's like, well, that didn't work. Let's get our enchantment down, and I completely skipped over that. Okay.
They grow up so fast. Don't blink or you'll miss me.
Much easier Shyvana to deal with now. This is like when we talk about playing Fioras and how important it is. Really, just hit that allegiance, huh? So you're just... that's so weird, right? We would expect with him playing at least 2 Shyvanas that... Alright, well... Alright. Not expect this to be an allegiance deck. Maybe you just hot rolled that 66% chance. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and Mystic Shot Shyvana to get her out of here. But yeah, we should quickly be seeing what I was talking about, us wanting to be the aggro as much as we can, as when he starts drawing these units with +3/+3 on him. Not a whole lot we can do about it. Just this damage-based removal is not good against big stat units.
Faster than my arrow? I think not.
I'm not afraid. Just a wee bit late.
I'm not real interested in blocking this Ashe. I guess when he presents an attack like this. Okay. I just can't imagine this ever works out well for us. So whatever trick he had on the previous turn, he should still have it here, but you know, if we can start getting chip damage in on Ashe, then hopefully these other spells will start to be a little bit higher value. Okay.
A win streak.
That's how we want to do it. We probably have to get a Shredder down.
Let the show begin.
Okay, so that's 2 ticks on Ezreal. He'll be up to 4. So we should be able to pretty easily flip him. I'm not real stoked about how high our opponent's health total is, but we're getting close to getting these damages in. Is he gonna open? If he doesn't open, then we're gonna be getting there real fast. See, this is why. Oh boy, that's a big one. So our Ezreal's flipped now, at least. But no, the reason, you know, I talk about we can't really count on these puff cap peddlers to win the game. You know, we've played, you know, enough spells up to this point to get our Ezreal flipped, and we're at 10 puff caps, and so it's just pretty tough to close things out with those.
Blessed by snow and stars.
Okay. I was kind of hoping that we would get to block this big boy with Jack the Winner, but at least putting Kimpunk Shredder in this, you know, should just take 3 to face. Assume that if he can't do anything about the that hook from the Ezreal, then he can't do anything about that combat there. Okay. Things are looking up.
About my rules.
Let's see, maybe we'll hit a Frostbite off of his deck and feel pretty good about it. Troll Chant, okay. Does it count for Ezreal? When you cast a spell, if targeted an enemy, it should count. So this is going to take him to 4. I think we can kill with Make It Rain Troll Chant, right? Make It Rain counts as targets, so this should be 3 damage, and then I think we got this. We're just gonna put whatever stats we can, and oh boy, I hope these spells are enough.
Let's go.
Okay. -2. I think we did a team. We did it. All right. Oof. Good deal. That was a little close, but got there in the end. And we even missed that 3 damage early on and still got there. So that makes it feel even better. So yeah, not a bad little Ezreal deck. Let me get this one pulled up here. And so yeah, this didn't really start out with the full intentions to be an Ezreal deck. We just wanted to draft Vi because we haven't drafted her in ages. But the Ezreal pickup was nice, and so that at least the big thing that made me happy about having Ezreal is with Vi the deck is really based on Insightful Investigator. That's the whole point of the smash and grab archetype is. There's an Insightful Investigator that wants you to be playing the 2-cost cards, and then there's all of the cards that when you draw something, reduces its cost down to 2. And so I know we have a handful of them here. Gotcha being the most common one. Then there's Patrol Wardens, which we surprisingly don't have any of. And then on the Bilgewater side, kind of the full engine, getting everything going is, you're going to have Twisted Fate on the board. Twisted Fate's going to see you drawing a bunch of cards off the Investigator. Then he's going to flip pretty quickly. And then so there's also Pocket Aces on the Bilgewater side that also fits this 2-cost theme. In general, I mean it's okay. It's just such a super expensive engine to really get going that we're typically looking at Insightful Investigator at really being like a 7 or an 8 drop as far as your game plan is concerned, right? Because if like what chains can we really expect to do? We play a 2-drop and we chain it into another spell and then that into another card. That's 6 mana, and so it's very tough to do those things on the turn you play the Investigator, and really just an ultra late game play to get going. And so, we don't really want to be counting on this, but, we do want to accept that is in our deck. And so how can we fully take advantage of the Insightful Investigator after we've chosen to take Ezreal? And that's Eager Apprentice, Mystic Shot. And so those were the two big cards that we were really looking to pick up in this trial. We didn't end up with like a super ton of them, 4 Mystic Shots and 2 Eager Apprentices. But this is, the ideal way to both support our Ezreal and support our Insightful Investigator. And so that's kind of the core idea of our deck here was we're gonna get reasonable 2-drops. We would like to have 8 or 10 or so, with a big chunk of those being Eager Apprentice, Mystic Shot. And so that's kind of ideal number 1 here. And then idea number 2 was how do we go and level up this Ezreal? Because if we're going to cast 6 spells to get him to flip, that's kind of like the extent of the spells you get to cast, right? You're kind of done at that point. And so if you're playing, 12, 14 spells in your deck, that's half of them just to get him to flip. And so at that point, you're kind of burnt out on spells. And so you really need a better way to flip him than that. And the ideal best way to flip him are with cards that target multiple things. And so if you're not familiar with the interaction, Make It Rain deals damage to target units for whatever reason. And so this was why we went out of our way to pick up Bilgewater. I know it wasn't like a super exciting pack. Well, it was Jack the Winter. He's exciting. But we took this Jack the Winter Boxtopus early on to put us into Bilgewater, knowing that Make It Rain is one of the great ways to level up Ezreal. And so I wanted to specifically call out, if you want to draft to Ezreal, then sure, you are going to be looking to draft, pretty much all of the removal spells that you can. We were pretty happy to have Thermogenic Beam ×2 for Mystic Shots, 1 Get Excited, our handful of Make It Rains, 4 Gotchas. This was a pretty important piece to pick up, but, you have to have Make It Rains, or if you want to be in Freylord, you can get the Frostbite Archer. If you're in Noxus, you can get Stun Spider, and so you have to get some kind of like either ways to multi-target, or you have to get units that target. Otherwise, you can't just sit around and count on your spells to level up Ezreal. So that was, kind of idea number 2 with this. Idea number 1 was our 2-drop focus. Idea number 2, get some kind of multi-target to level up our Ezreal. And then once we've kind of gotten all that together, it's like, how do we actually close out these games? You can't count on Ezreal to hard carry every game himself. And then from that point, it's these big elusives. And so this is typically the ideal way that Bilgewater decks like to close out games. We usually see things like Slippery Wave Rider closing out games for like Fishbone style decks or Plunder decks are really low to the ground, aggressive curve type strategies. Really like having like 2 Slippery Wave Riders in it. And again, here we were pretty happy to have 2 Slippery Wave Rider, 1 Abyssal Eye. Arguably, the Abyssal Eye is going to be better in this style of deck since we can technically draw a bunch of cards off of our Insightful Investigators. We can pick up some cards with things like Electrostatic Shock. We may or may not pick up some of the 2-drops like Fortune Croaker or Pull Sharks to help us draw a few additional cards. Picking up Abyssal Eyes is typically better than the Wave Rider, but they're so close in comparison that it doesn't really matter. And so, just make sure that you pick up 2 or 3 of these big elusives for the late game to help you close things out. But yeah, that's it. Otherwise, it's typically a pretty typical control deck. You got to know where you're weak. That's that last game we were weak. Playing against things like Yetis or big Freylord decks can be kind of tough to do, but otherwise, you just got to kind of let that go. And so the big themes here: just draft all the removal spells that you can, find some kind of way to multi-target, and then pick up a couple ways to get through the end of the game without attacking. And so that's our big elusives and Abyssal Eye and Slippery Wave Rider. You can't count on Jack the Winter, but he does the same idea, right? He does that 2 damage and doesn't have to worry about being blocked. So that is going to do it for this one. I don't think we have any rewards. Let me check real quick. This says retire and claim. Checking the home button, we don't have anything here. And so that is going to do it. And so I hope you all learned how to flip your Ezreals just a little bit better. You maybe learned a thing or two and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.